Hey and welcome to the Daily Arsenal News Show. Let's begin with our daily news. Arsenal could let fantastic player go this summer for the right offer. Arsenal are open to selling defender Rob Holding this summer as Mikel Arteta continues to evaluate his squad. Journalist Tom Canton has suggested on the Gooner Talk YouTube channel that the 27-year-old could move on. After such a successful season at the Emirates last year, many would have thought Mikel Arteta would only want to make small tweaks to his squad. However, as the transfer window gets into full swing, it appears as though a bigger revolution is on the cards. A deal for Granit Xhaka looks close, but is unlikely to go through until Declan Rice has been signed. Arsenal are also willing to sell Thomas Partey, meaning Arsenal could line up with a completely new midfield next season. Another player Arsenal are now open to letting go this summer is Rob Holding. The English centre-back briefly stepped up in William Saliba's absence towards the end of last season. It coincided with Arsenal's title challenge falling apart and defensive issues creeping in. Speaking about Holding's future, Canton said, Arsenal's priorities are sorting out the midfield, and the Sky Havertz deal is taking a bit of a priority. Once these sagas are hopefully sorted, hopefully we see a resolution in hopefully the next week or so, then I imagine the attention will draw more towards the fullback areas, the defensive areas. The club are open for him, Rob Holding, to leave if there is an offer from a club to sign him. The club are open to allowing him to leave, so we'll have to wait and see, but certainly the club are open to that. Journalist shares what he now heard about Folarin Balogun and a move to Marseille. Arsenal youngster Folarin Balogun has been in the headlines for a number of different reasons over the last few weeks. Balogun scored his first goal for the USA in a 2-0 win over Canada. Following on from that, he has since admitted he has no desire to go out on loan next season, fueling talk of a permanent Arsenal exit. And according to journalist Jonathan Johnson, a move to Marseille over in Ligue 1 shouldn't be ruled out. Writing in his latest column for Caught Offside, Johnson details how Balogun is of interest to the French side, and he suggests a decision on another Arsenal player, Nuno Tavares, could actually have a direct impact on the decision they make of Balogun. He said, there has been a lot of interest and a lot of business done between Arsenal and Marseille in recent times, with Olympique Marseille showing a particular interest in Folarin Balogun and his future this summer. It's difficult for Marseille to make a move for him at this moment in time, however, as they don't have a new coach in place yet. Still, Marseille seems to have a particularly good relationship with Arsenal, as we saw with the loan deal for Nuno Tavares last summer, which itself followed the William Saliba loan and the Matteo Guendouzi loan that was turned permanent. In terms of Tavares' future, I am not sure Marseille saw enough from him to want to make that move permanent, but I think that's a relationship those two clubs will want to continue, so it could have implications for Balogun or maybe someone else. Dion Dublin blown away by unbelievable Arsenal man after performance yesterday. Dion Dublin has been blown away by how Arsenal star Bukayo Saka played for England last night, covering England's huge win over North Macedonia on BBC 5 Live. Dublin was delighted for the 21-year-old. Bukayo Saka couldn't have asked for a better end to his campaign. After starring for Arsenal throughout the season, he capped it off with a first senior hat-trick last night. Dublin was quick to praise Saka during the match and loved what he saw from the Arsenal forward. It's easy to forget that Saka is still just 21 years old and has years ahead of him to continue improving. It's an exciting thought for both England and Gunners fans. Covering the game on BBC 5 Live, Dublin said after Saka's second goal, "It just happened to come from Trent Alexander-Arnold again, that no-look pass. Saka knew what he was going to do. The ball comes down from the air with snow on it. It's an unbelievable touch. That is world class. Arsenal will be delighted that Saka committed his long-term future to the club a few weeks ago. The 21-year-old is one of the most exciting prospects in world football right now. There have been suggestions that Arsenal boss Mikel Arteta should reduce his minute next season to avoid burnout. However, when he is playing this well, it's hard to justify taking him out of the team. Many Arsenal fans will agree with Dublin that Saka is capable of world-class moment. Doing that consistently is the next step for the forward, although there weren't many games last season where he didn't turn up. Arsenal now really pushing to sign phenomenal midfielder ahead of title winners in last few hours. Arsenal have really been pushing in the last few hours to convince Ilkay Gundogan to join them as the midfielder closes in on deciding where his future lies. That's according to a report from Mondo Deportivo, which suggests that Barcelona remain hopeful of signing the Manchester City star, but they are waiting for a final decision. Ilkay Gundogan is definitely one player to keep an eye on in the early stages of the transfer window. His current contract with Manchester City is about to expire, and he is attracting interest from Arsenal and Barca. Reports from Mondo Deportivo this week claim that Gundogan's agent has told the Barcelona hierarchy that he is close to accepting their offer. But it seems that Arsenal are ready to throw in the towel. Mondo Deportivo is now reporting that Arsenal are working extremely hard right now to convince the 32-year-old to join them. Despite the Gunners' effort, Barcelona reportedly remain hopeful that Gundogan will end up at Camp Nou, but a final decision is expected later this week. It would be a huge statement if Mikel Arteta could convince Gundogan to move to the Emirates. Convincing the midfielder to move elsewhere in the Premier League looks to be a massive task. Meanwhile, it seems that Barcelona are hopeful that he is headed to Catalonia. So again, it would be quite something for Arsenal to potentially snatch him from their grasp. The Gunners look to be out to make their mark on this window as they prepare for their Champions League return next season. Certainly, adding the phenomenal Gundogan to their side would be an absolutely inspired piece of business. Mikel Arteta remains a big fan of incredible Premier League player after Tierney U-turn. Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta remains keen on bringing in Manchester City's Joao Cancelo this summer. According to reports, Cancelo has emerged as one of the names Arsenal are considering signing this summer. After falling out of favour with Manchester City, the Portuguese star moved to Bayern München on loan. However, the German giants won't be signing him permanently, and according to football transfers, Arteta remains keen on exploring a deal to sign Cancelo. According to football transfers, the Gunners are keen on bringing Cancelo to the club as an option down the right-hand side. It comes as the same report claims that Mikel Arteta has now convinced Kieran Tierney to stay put, with part of the pitch to Tierney being that Cancelo would not be in competition for the left-back slot. Cancelo is expected to move on as part of a mini exodus of City players after their Champions League success. The likes of Ilkay Gundogan, also linked with Arsenal, Bernardo Silva, Kyle Walker and Calvin Phillips, could all find new homes this summer. Cancelo was previously considered one of the best in the world. However, a spot with Pep Guardiola seemed to have a huge impact. He struggled for his best form ever since. Arsenal are looking to go one better next season, and if they get Cancelo and a few more through the door, then that title might just be within reach this time. Unbelievable player thinks Arsenal will sign him in the next 10 days. West Ham United star Declan Rice reportedly expect to become an Arsenal player before the end of this month. It's no secret at this point that the Gunners really like Rice. The Englishman is one of the best midfielders in the Premier League, and he will be a huge signing for Mikel Arteta's side. Arsenal have already had a bid rejected for Rice, but the Daily Mail claimed the midfielder is expected the Gunners to seal a deal in the next 10 days. Arsenal have been pursuing Declan Rice for about 6 months now. The Gunners' interest first emerged back in January, and the Englishman has been constantly linked with a move to the Emirates since. Now it could finally happen. Arsenal's first bid, according to Fabrizio Romano, was worth £80 million. That was rejected, but a new bid is expected to be lodged very quickly, and Rice is said to be optimistic about a deal. The report claims the unbelievable West Ham man is about to go on a holiday after what has been a long season, but he does know his future is up in the air and he knows exactly what he wants as well. It has been claimed that Rice is expecting to become a new Arsenal player by the end of this month, which is just 10 days away. Arsenal have reportedly already verbally indicated their intention to increase their offer to over £100 million to seal the deal. It's almost a guarantee that Arsenal will go back in with a second offer for Declan Rice. The Gunners are desperate to strengthen their midfield. Granit Xhaka is expected to leave the club, while there are rumors Thomas Partey could be allowed to leave as well. Rice would be an incredible signing for Arsenal, and under Mikel Arteta, he could take this game to a whole new level in the coming years. The report claims Rice expects to be an Arsenal player in the next 10 days. If that happens, he should be available to take part in the Gunners' pre-season tour. Arsenal signing £50 million star now highly likely. Arteta thinks he could be a right-sided Zinchenko. Arsenal signing Jurriën Timber is now highly likely, with the Gunners apparently viewing the Ajax star as a right-sided version of Zinchenko. That's according to a report from 90 Minute, which suggests that Mikel Arteta's man will continue to hold talks with the Eredivisie side about a potential move for the 22-year-old. Arsenal making a move for Jurriën Timber appears to have escalated very quickly. The Athletic reported on Monday night that the Gunners had made a £30 million bid for the youngster. Ajax want £50 million for Timber, but it would appear that the player himself is ready to go. According to the Telegraph in the Netherlands, Timber is ready to agree a long-term deal with Arsenal if the two sides can agree a fee. 90 Minute reports that an agreement between Arsenal and Ajax is deemed to be highly likely by those close to the situation, and intriguingly, the report adds that Arteta views Timber as someone who can play a similar role to Zinchenko. Timber has the ability to play at right back or centre back, but he is also comfortable driving forward into midfield. Zinchenko had a mixed first season at Arsenal. He struggled with a couple of injuries, and there were a handful of mistakes, which highlighted that Kieran Tierney is probably the better defender of the two. However, the Ukrainian's arrival was a game changer. His presence in the team allowed Arteta to almost transform how Arsenal played, and it nearly led to a Premier League title win. So, if they are able to do similar on the other side of the pitch, that could be particularly exciting. It would give Arsenal so much more versatility in how they progress the ball out from the back. There is still work to be done, but all the signs certainly seem to be positive. After Timber, Arsenal have just offered £60 million for another player, personal terms agreed. Arsenal are not messing about this summer. The Gunners have been making moves already, and we are not even in July. Their opening bid for Declan Rice went in last week. We heard on Monday night about their bid for Ajax Jurriën Timber, and now, according to the Daily Mail, Arsenal have made a new verbal offer of £60 million for Kai Havertz. Arsenal made an opening approach for Havertz last week, and now that's been firmed up with a verbal offer. This offer is apparently worth £55 million plus £5 million in add-ons. Chelsea apparently value the player at £70 million, but with Havertz making it clear to the Blues that he won't be signing a new contract and reportedly agreeing personal terms with Arsenal, perhaps the West London club will take £60 million and run. In all honesty, that's not a bad fee for an attacker who has never hit double figures in the Premier League. Of course, Havertz's game is about more than just goals, but with the likes of Christopher Nkunku and Nicolas Jackson coming in at Stamford Bridge, there isn't much room for the German in the front line anymore. As for Arsenal, it will be interesting to see where Havertz plays in this side if he does come to the Emirates. He can play anywhere across the attack, while he's also got the attributes to play in a midfield role too. It's clear that Mikel Arteta and Edu are determined to land Havertz, so they must have a plan for where he will fit into this team, and I will be hoping that this new offer will be enough to get their man. Keep an eye out for any more Havertz update this week because this could be one that moves quickly. I will be uploading daily Arsenal news, so keep your eyes on the channel and don't forget to like and subscribe. I appreciate your support. Peace out.